The cafe was loud that afternoon. Cups clinked, chairs scraped the floor, and people rushed past without looking at anyone else. In the middle of all that noise, a single dad sat alone at a small table, staring at his phone and wondering how he'd make it through another long day. He didn't notice her at first. He didn't see the crutches. He didn't see the missing leg. He only heard a soft, nervous voice that would change everything. "Can I share this table?" the one-legged girl asked quietly. And what the single dad said next would stay with her, and everyone watching, forever. Before the story continues, take a quick second to support the channel. If you believe small acts of kindness can change lives, please subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. This is Kindness World, and stories like this remind us why kindness still matters. The single dad's name was Mark. He was in his late 30s, with tired eyes and rough hands from years of working jobs that barely paid the bills. He was raising his 8-year-old son alone after his wife passed away, and most days felt like survival mode. That afternoon, he had stopped at the cafe after picking up his son from school, hoping to grab something cheap to eat before heading home. His son, Ethan, was in the restroom washing his hands. Mark sat at the table, counting the few dollars in his wallet, deciding whether he could afford a cookie for Ethan or if it would have to wait until next week. That's when the girl approached. She looked about 15 or 16. One leg ended above the knee, replaced by a worn prosthetic. She leaned on her crutches, clearly tired, clearly unsure if she was welcome. The cafe was crowded, and every other table was full. Mark looked up, startled for a moment. Then he saw her face. Not pity, not judgment. Just a quiet hope mixed with fear of rejection. "Can I share this table?" she asked again, her voice barely louder than the noise around them. Mark didn't hesitate. "Of course you can," he said, standing up slightly to pull out the chair. "Please, sit down. You don't even have to ask." The girl's shoulders relaxed, just a little. She sat carefully, setting her crutches beside the table. "Thank you," she said. "Most people just pretend they don't hear me." Mark frowned. "That's their loss," he replied gently. A few seconds of silence passed, not awkward, just calm. Then Ethan came back, climbing into his seat with his usual energy. "Hi," Ethan said to the girl with a smile, as if she were just another neighbor. "Hi," she replied, surprised. "I'm Lily." "I'm Ethan," he said proudly. "My dad makes the best pancakes in the world." Mark chuckled. "That's debatable." Lily laughed, and for the first time since she walked in, she didn't feel invisible. They talked about small things at first. School, favorite foods, music. Lily shared that she loved drawing and wanted to be an artist someday. Mark listened carefully, the way people do when they truly care, not the way people listen just to be polite. Then Lily hesitated, staring at her hands. "I lost my leg in an accident when I was 10, she said quietly. "Some days, it's hard to go out in public." Mark nodded slowly. "I can't pretend to know exactly how that feels," he said. "But I do know what it's like to feel like the world moved on without you." Lily looked up, surprised. "My wife passed away 3 years ago," Mark continued. "Since then, it's been me and this little guy. Some days are heavy, but we keep going." Ethan reached for his dad's hand without saying a word. Lily swallowed, her eyes glossy. "Thank you for telling me that," she said. "Most people avoid real conversations." Mark smiled softly. "Real conversations are usually the ones that help the most." When the waitress came, Mark ordered 1 sandwich and 2 waters. Lily ordered nothing. She said she was just waiting for her mom. A few minutes later, Mark quietly waved the waitress back. "Can you add 1 more sandwich and a hot chocolate?" he asked. The waitress nodded. When the food arrived, Mark slid the extra plate toward Lily. "Oh, no," Lily said quickly. "I didn't order that." "I know," Mark replied. "But kindness doesn't need permission." Lily hesitated. "I can't." "Yes, you can," Ethan said firmly. "My dad says sharing food makes it taste better." Lily laughed through tears. "Then thank you," she whispered. They ate together, not as strangers, but as people sharing a moment that felt safe and warm in a world that often wasn't. When Lily's mother arrived, she stopped short, confused by the scene. Lily stood carefully, grabbing her crutches. "Mom," she said, smiling brighter than she had all day, "I made new friends." Her mother looked at Mark, then at Ethan, and nodded with gratitude she couldn't put into words. As Lily turned to leave, she paused. "Sir," she said to Mark, "thank you for saying yes. Today was really hard before I walked in here." Mark met her eyes. "I'm glad you asked," he said. "And I hope you keep asking. The right people will always say yes." Lily nodded, wiping her eyes. "I won't forget this." After they left, Ethan looked up at his dad. "Dad," he said, "being kind didn't cost anything." Mark smiled, his chest tight with emotion. "No, buddy," he said. "But it can change everything." As they walked home later, Mark realized something. He had come into that cafe worried about money, stress, and tomorrow. But he walked out feeling lighter. Kinder. More human. And somewhere down the street, a one-legged girl walked with a little more confidence, knowing she wasn't alone in the world. Because sometimes, kindness is as simple as sharing a table. And sometimes, that small moment becomes a memory that lasts a lifetime. If this story moved you, carry it forward. Say yes when someone asks. Make room at your table. And remember, kindness always finds its way back.